Over the course of past 11 years, PS I Love You Day, alongside schools across Long Island, have donated to the Long Island Crisis Center. The 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, suicide prevention and crisis intervention hotline opened in 1971. Joining us now is Theresa Bush. She's the executive director of Long Island Crisis Center and oversees the center and trains and supervises more than 100 volunteers. So thank you so much for joining us.
Hi, Theresa.
Hi, thank you very much. It's very much my pleasure to be here.
Yes.
Thank you for your support over the years.
Thank you so much for, just supporting our mission, and we're so happy that we're able to provide you guys with money, that goes towards something that's so passionate, and what we feel strongly about.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So just if you could start off by walking us through, like, what's a typical day at the Long Island Crisis Center?
That's a good question. It's hard to define a typical day. For me, in my role now as the executive director, a lot of my staff is working remotely due to COVID-19, as are a lot of people. Some of us go into the agency. I like to go into the agency, so I go in. I start by checking my emails, and sometimes I read the cards from the day before to see what kinds of calls we've gotten. We keep some records so that we just for our funders and stuff like that. So sometimes I look to see if there's anything urgent that needs to be taken care of. And I spend most of my time supervising my staff. I have an amazing staff that carry out the work that we do 24/7. And I like to check in with them, especially now with the remote working that we are doing. I like to check in with each of them at least once a week, usually several times a day, often, just to make sure we work so much as a team at Long Island Crisis Center that working remotely has been challenging because we're so used to working with each other and being around each other that it takes a little more effort to keep connected working remotely. So I do a lot of that, a lot of checking in with the staff, keeping the staff connected to each other, and reaching out to the volunteers, seeing what the volunteers need to be carrying out the work that they're doing as they're answering hotline calls from home remotely.
And at a time like this, as you're mentioning, it's so hard to stay connected. And for, not only Long Islanders, but really people across the world, there's a lot of hardship, a lot of heartache currently happening. So what would be, if someone's going through a hard time, what would be, your advice on how exactly they can and why they should reach out for help? It's okay not to be okay.
Right. And actually, one of our taglines is it's okay to ask for help. So you led right into that beautifully. We see asking for help as a strength, not a weakness. Some people think that admitting they have a problem shows that they are weak, but it really does not. And when you are facing insurmountable problems or problems that seem insurmountable, because we're all in a heightened state of stress these days with COVID and everything. So even something that would not have set us over the edge in different times might push us over the edge now. And if we look at the whole picture, it's very easy to get overwhelmed. And when you're overwhelmed, you can easily start to feel helpless, which means you can't do anything for yourself. And then that can lead to feeling hopeless, which means nobody can do anything for you. Once somebody starts to feel hopeless, it's hard to come back. So what we urge people to do is not look at the whole picture. Take one step at a time. Problems are not usually solved overnight, but with time and effort, problems can be worked on and solved. But it's easier if you just look at one step at a time and accept help when it's offered to you. Don't feel like that's a weakness. People want to help. It's human nature to want to help each other. So sometimes we have to get past that and accept the help when it is offered to us and not be afraid to reach out for the help that is available.
I think that's such a good point, Theresa, because, sometimes people see the problem, they feel so closed in, so closed-minded, like almost like something's burying them. When we just try to tackle one little part of it, it really helps us see that it can, like, if you just tackle one part day by day, that it will get better over time,
Right.
And so with Long Island and everyone that lives here, how do you really get your message across and let people know that your services are available to them?
We do a lot of media ads. We do on social media. We still do send ads to the local papers. People of a certain age do still read local papers and they see our ads there. We have a very large community education program where we go into the schools and middle schools and high schools from primarily Nassau County, but we also do some schools in Suffolk County. And we present on a variety of topics, including suicide prevention, self-injury, just mental health in general, cyberbullying. And the goal of those workshops is to educate people on these topics, but it's also to let them know about the resources out there, especially us, obviously. Since we are a 24/7 resource, we also have a database of additional resources. So if somebody reaches out to us and they need additional help, we have probably can come up with at least one referral for them, if not more than that. So our community education program really helps get the word out about what we do in addition to social media.
And if someone wants to call right now, after class, after they leave and they're watching this online, how can they reach you guys or reach a counselor, volunteer?
It is as simple as picking up a phone and dialing 516-679-1111. And it's always answered by a human being is there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week to answer the call. We also have an online chat program called Chat Live Long Island that operates Monday through Friday from 7 p.m. to 11 p.m. And that is also answered by a trained volunteer counselor who has gone through over 6 months of training before they're allowed to answer the chat line or the hotlines by themselves. And they're volunteers. They're there because they want to be there. They have a real passion for helping others, and they're very well trained in any topic. Another one of our taglines is any problem, anyone, anytime. So no problem is too big or too small. And the people there are there because they really want to help, and they're able to help. They're capable.
And what's so crazy is that when we started PS Every Day, and when I was in high school, we were just looking for a local organization to donate to, and Long Island Crisis Center came up first. And you guys were just developing the texting hotline, I believe, around that same time.
Yeah.
But you've been with Long Island Crisis Center far longer than that. And I'm sure, you've seen the evolution of the discussion around mental health. So how exactly has it changed over the years? And do you feel like we've reached a point where the stigma is gone?
I think we've reached a point where the stigma is decreasing. I don't think it's gone yet, but I think we have come a very long way. I actually started there in 1992, which was probably before you were born. I think it has definitely come a long way. One of the examples is our annual suicide prevention walk that you so eloquently spoke at quite a few years ago now. Every year we see the numbers increase for people who attend that walk. We held it the third Sunday, usually in September in Long Beach on the boardwalk. And every year the crowds grow. And what that says is there are more and more people that want to be around others, that want to talk about suicide, that want to share their experiences. They draw comfort from being around others who are in a similar situation or who faced a similar situation as they did. And even people who have not been affected by suicide come to the walks because they want to support the cause and they want to learn more about it. So that alone, every year, seeing more and more people come out is very inspiring to us. And it's really taken off, and it makes us so happy. It's not just a fundraiser for the agency. It's really more of an awareness campaign and a chance for people to be with each other.
Yes.
Mhm.
And I mean, even from, the time we started PSA Every Day, we've gotten so many people that have shared their stories with us and just shared how they're more comfortable sharing their story about someone that they know that has, unfortunately passed away due to their mental illness. So we just feel like, from hearing their stories and them feeling more comfortable, that we want them to know that, that they have a comfortable area to talk and, have someone there to support them. So it's
Right.
so great that it is such a good way to look at it, that it's not, that more people are passing away by this, that it's more
Mhm.
people are coming together to support each other.
Right. You could look at it either way, but I think it's more that people are finding an outlet and feeling comfortable. And people make shirts and they wear shirts. Sometimes they make shirts with their loved one on the shirt. I mean that, years ago that would have been such
Yeah.
a taboo. It would not be something to celebrate, something to show. And now, people they have the names and all they have teams of 20 people that are coming out to support them in honor of the person that they lost. It's really an incredible experience.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I was just saying, so I know that you created in 1993 that you guys started the Pride for Youth program. Could you just give explanation a little bit more so that everyone watching could understand that and really what that encounters?
Sure. I was actually around when Pride for Youth started in 1993. The reason it started as a project of Long Island Crisis Center is we were getting a lot of calls on the hotline from people who identified as lesbian, gay, bisexual, not so much transgender back then. Now it's LGBT. Back then, we didn't get too many calls from people who identified as transgender, but we got a lot of calls, especially from young people. And we saw that the number of calls we were getting from LGBT young people was disproportionate in their suicidality to their cisgendered counterparts. So the suicide rate for LGBT was much higher. And one of those reasons was they didn't have any role models. They didn't have much support. Back then, it was still a taboo, and it was still something that was really, while it was getting better, it was really not accepted. And even in your own home, you might be ostracized or not accepted by your parents and your other family members. And that's why we started Pride for Youth. It started as a little support group on Friday nights. And now it has grown to, they provide so many. We have 2 locations now in Nassau County and in Suffolk County. It provides a multitude of services, including still that Friday night drop-in center, but a lot of work now around HIV prevention and access to treatment, PEP and PrEP, which is medication out there now to help stop the spread of HIV. So now it is now possible that even if someone is HIV positive, if they take medication, that HIV can be possible that it does not spread any further. So we've made remarkable strides in HIV prevention and in the LGBT community also. It's just
So if someone wanted to, join for the Pride for Youth, how would they be able to join this and help volunteer or become a member?
The phone number for Pride for Youth is 516-679-9000. And anybody could call, and anybody who answers the phone would be able to help to give them information about volunteering or about the services. They could also go to the website, go to longislandcrisiscenter.org, and there'll be a click for PFY, or they could go to pfy.org, and they would see all about the services and opportunities that exist. And there's plenty of opportunity to get involved with Pride for Youth. It's a wonderful organization.
Oh, and I think what it comes down to is finding a place where you feel like you belong. Like, you essentially have provided a safe haven for not only these students, but these community members. And especially during the 90s, a safe haven didn't exist for the LGBTQ community. But then, for anyone who was seeking some sort of help, it was really not there. It was not aware. And so for volunteers, if they want to get involved and they want to help your cause, is it easy to do? Could we do it from home? How does it work?
Good question. A year ago, the answer to can we do it from home would have been no.
Yeah.
The answer now is,
right?
Yes. We've had to adjust with the times. So volunteers are now answering hotlines from home. And also we have updated our counselor training to be remote, which is really incredible. My associate director, Joe Walsh, did an incredible job of transforming what we did in person to an online model. And we are actually starting a new training in March, and we'll be doing another one in September where we are training people remotely. And we've got a lot of interest now because mental health is being, once again with COVID, mental health is being brought to the forefront. People are realizing that even when the vaccine is available for everybody, and even when things start to open and sort of go back to normal, the effects on people's mental health is not going to go away. This is really traumatic for so many people on so many levels. Yeah. So our hotlines are so important, and we need more people to help us provide the service, and we're trying to reach that goal.
Now more than ever, we need volunteers, but we also need an outlet, a mental health. And that's why we really do PS Every Day, is to really remind people that, mental health is so important. And together, that's our slogan this year, together we will rise, is not just a saying, but it's crucial. Everyone needs to put their, all in. And when you can't put your all in, someone's going to be there to carry you.
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah. It really is so important that we realize, because we can't be together like physically, that, you don't realize how much you strive on like physical interaction with other people and getting to see your loved ones, getting to see your friends. It could be a rather hard time. So what would your biggest advice be for someone that is struggling right now, that's listening, whether it be socially, mentally.
Once again, the best advice you can give is to realize that things most likely will get better. Once again, it's not going to happen overnight. As far as the pandemic goes, I think we're certainly closer to the end of it than we are to the beginning of it. There is hope out there. The vaccine is hopeful. The distribution of it is frustrating. And in some ways, that's going to set people back because people were very excited. And now being forced to wait is another setback. But we have to wait and see that, supposedly things are being done to increase that. So for every setback, there is reasons to hope. Step by step, we will get to where we need to be, and help is available. And resources are being every day. New resources are becoming available. More virtual events, things are opening up more. So step by step and reaching out for help, you can get to where you need to be.
And we'll provide the teachers and educators with these numbers to reach directly to you. So if you're listening to this and you're going through a hard time, be sure to check out Long Island Crisis Center Services. Theresa, Executive Director of Long Island Crisis Center, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for joining
Thank
us.
you. My pleasure, really.
We hope that everyone, remembers after this video to stay hopeful, just like you said.
I hope so too. Thank you.
Thank you so much.